I'm just sending you that
Oh
email.
God, I thought my volume was broken then. No. Perfect. Well, I think it sounds like we've both been robbed. Somebody has turned up and stole Thursday.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Well, I ended up having a bit of a late night last night because I helped out. Look at. I think, right, before we go anywhere, I think, oh, shoot, hang on, my battery's running. Oh, and I have plugged it in. I had plugged it in, but the plug had come out of it. Anyway, I think I've cracked it with the curd. I only washed this an hour ago. And it's already drying.
That's a lot drier than it usually looks.
Yes, I put on too much conditioner before. So I'm trying it without. It might go frizzy, but let's see. Oh, how are you?
Hello, a bit early, but I don't want to start another episode of Dexter. A bit early for Dexter episode, Sian. Goodness me.
Yeah, you're not too early. It's not a party. It's not like, oh, I'm a loser for coming in the front door in the beginning. Well, it is a party, but you know what I mean. It's all right to be here at 6 o'clock. It's fine. We're very happy to see you. How are you? I hope you're well. This looks horrendous, but it's only... It was minging. It was so minging. I had to wash it, and I knew it would be. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be another kitchen sink where I look like a drowned rat," and I don't care. It needs to be. I've got a chance of it being dry for the millions of gigs we've got later. Look at us showing off our millions of gigs. And breathe. How are you? How are you? How's things? I have things I would like to talk about, but I want to know how you are first.
Right, you go, and if I need to respond, I'll put it in the chat.
Do you want my new mug?
I do.
I'll keep the private chat on then.
I like Giraffe mug.
Thank you very much. But that one is not clean at the moment. No, I bought this one, and you know it's so weird when I buy stuff. I'm like, I don't want to use it yet, so I wanted to keep it special. So this is the first time I've used it, and on here it's bone china. It's only tenner. Bone china, and it says on it, she believed she could, so she did. Yay.
Oh, well, I completely agree with that.
Yes, and I absolutely have had a really good food-wise this week. I've done really well. Well done, me. But what I wanted to chat to you about, Lucy, is haircuts. We're allowed to have haircuts now. Can you believe it? My mum had a haircut yesterday. She was thrilled. She was like a new woman. And I've been saying to her for years, she's always had her hair dyed. She's 76. She's always, I'm only 76, you know.
I'm only 76.
I dared to go, you know, this is the woman who in her 40s, when I was 10, was moaning about she's got nothing, you know, she's bored, nothing to do. And I'm like, Mum, why don't you go, you know, to college, go to night school, learn a new thing? And she's like, oh, I'm 40. I'm over 40 now. It's too late for me. And then last year I was like, well, you're 76 now, you know. And she's like, well, I'm only 76, you know. So I was like, oh, okay. You know, so she's an enigma wrapped in a present or something, is my mum. But her hair with the lockdown had been growing out. She normally has it dyed. I feel a bit guilty talking about her behind her back, but she won't know about this, right? So she's been letting her hair grow out, the dye grow out, and it looks really good. She's got lovely, it's all blended in properly, you know, a natural hair. It's like she's got a really cool, like white grey in bits, and she's still got a natural colour, which is black at the back, that I haven't seen. I don't think I've ever seen my mother's natural hair colour. And it looks really nice. I'm really chuffed for her. She was so chuffed to get a haircut. But I've been growing my hair, and this is, I've broken free of the addiction of going to the hairdressers every 6 to 8 weeks. It's been 4 or 5 months. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to go now. I'm getting a bit protective. You can't see because I'm literally just ahead. But look, it's quite like I've been meaning to grow it down to my boobs. Achieved, right? So I don't really want to. I don't know. Are you going to go?
I'm going to have to interrupt, Sarah. We've got a troll back.
We got what back?
We've got a little troll back.
Oh, cool. Oh, I better go and have a look.
Honestly, it's so amazing, Sarah. He thinks like we give a fuck about his opinion on our look.
You're such a knob, Captain John 44. Fuck you.
Uh,
Who gives a
but the
shit?
thing is, if he was a proper fan,
Yeah.
he'd know that if he says to us we look rough as, guess what?
I thank you. You're advertising my new new material night, Rough House Comedy. Don't join. Well, you can. I will welcome you. Who hurt you, Captain John 44?
Do you
What's
want to show us
wrong?
on show us on your address, Brooke? Which girl turned you down?
Yeah, was it all of them?
Was it
Oh,
all of
bless.
them? Oh,
I
how
think,
retro is that? We haven't had a dick for ages. I mean, literally, we're locked down. But
well, yeah. And frankly, if that is what was on offer, I'm quite happy not having any D, actually. But yeah, isn't that interesting? We haven't. I tell you why we've got this now is because remember on the last show, I think we were both a bit complacent and a bit like I was like, oh right, you know, the kiddies have come out and they've done that and what have you, and they realise that actually we will challenge and tackle, and also, you know, like if that is your real like if you are like born in 1944, is that where the 44s come from, or is that your age? If you're 44 years old coming on here to troll us,
darling, I
let's
think it's
be
probably
nice.
like the number on the back of his favourite Power Ranger or football player or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is the number 44? Does it mean anything in Paw Patrol?
Is it? And I hope it's Pokemon.
He's not going
I've
to be on
seen
level. He's not. Oh, don't mention Pokemon. We've got a guest coming on.
Captain John.
And don't
Captain
forget,
John.
Sarah, the school holidays have started back up. So
Are they?
I think so.
Oh, it might be different in Wales. I'm in Wales. I haven't seen lots of. I've given up figuring out real life anymore. To be honest with you, I've no
Relevant,
idea
really.
what.
It's all irrelevant. It means nothing to me, eh?
I don't know because I don't have kids, so I don't know when the school is in and out. Oh, Captain John's fucked off. Hopefully, is he?
I don't know, but thanks for the viewing figures. We could do with a strong start.
Yeah, feel free to if you enjoyed our little Captain John interlude, feel free to pay us on
Oh,
coffee
we've
so
got
we
good
can buy more
news.
hair products. Mm.
Yeah, we've got good news. We're allowed to put a piece of article together for the Funny Women newsletter, so that's good. We've got to work on that.
Awesome.
The other good news is you and I are going to be performing tonight
Yes, twice.
in many different ways. I just got to double check that we're on before 9.
I have gone in there quick though, my lovely, because I've already said, can I go on early? So I'm going on first. I didn't like to speak for you and say, oh, and Lucy as well.
Why didn't you remind me?
I didn't think I needed to. You're so on everything all the time.
Honestly, last couple of days, I've been distracted. You know when you one of those days where it takes you 3 attempts to turn a kettle on and pour the water, and then you find the milk put in the cupboard. Like it is.
Yeah.
I can't even find the bloody message thread.
Don't panic. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it all out very soon. I'm just gonna have a little look on Twitch and say hello Twitch. Right, I'm just looking on there because to be fair to Captain John, my face is very close to this camera. So potentially maybe that, and of course my hair, it's terrible at the minute. Well, it's drying, so maybe that's that. I need to go back a bit. So all right.
Right.
News. I'm trying to think of news-wise, other than my mum getting her hair done. Oh, and she made a cake yesterday as well. It was stunning.
How would you know, Sarah?
Because I was in the house and I went, that cake smells stunning. And my dad was like, "Oh, you can have any cake," because it was too hot to cut, apparently. What cake is too hot to cut? But I'm very glad because I'm eating very clean this week.
I think
to get a weight loss for Monday.
Is made up to keep you off cakes. It's too hot.
It's too hot. Yeah, get off. Get off the cake. It's too hot to cut. I don't care. So and my mum makes this amazing bread as well.
Oh, no, sorry. Cakes mean nothing to me, love. But bread,
Well, you've never tasted bread like it. I don't know how the woman does it. She must just put half a pound of sugar in. It's amazing. It's amazing white bread. Um, ooh, you broken up? Oh, happy holidays, Poodle Hat. Enjoy. What kind of do you teach children, or are you like, oh yeah, it's a school, isn't it? Of course, it would be children. I teach adults. I teach adults that are in the workplace, and it's really good fun. I did a bit of training this morning. That was really nice. Do you know what? I had two subjects on my list of things I wanted to talk to you about, Lucy. Haircuts, done, sorted.
Well, I think I'm safe to mention this unless I have right. No, I do admin for the local music service, but our offices are based in a school. So with myself, I
Yeah.
don't I get proud. I get proud when I brush it.
You're like, well done, you rushed my hair.
I couldn't be more of a lazy teenage boy.
Yeah.
But my
Oh.
mother has her hair done regularly,
Hmm.
and we've got little hairdressers in the village, and she was with the hairdresser before it got taken over. So she's been with this woman since before she was even there, and we're
Right.
talking like 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And we
Sorry, I'll
got
turn.
the said in the papers, hairdressers have opened up again.
Hmm.
So Mum went in, 4 people in the chairs, and she was like, "I didn't know you were open," because everyone's been gotten. What made me laugh is Dean Maxwell in our interview said, "What do you do about booking gigs and stuff?" And she went, "Well, comedians are like hairdressers. You've got to honour the commitments you made before lockdown."
Yes.
Oh no, oh no, not where
Oh,
we fucking live.
people. Right.
Only did they not contact her. They were like, "Oh right, yeah," and this is what gets me when people use false lies. We
Right.
didn't have your number in our phone at home.
Well, go to another hairdresser. Is
The
there another
little,
hairdresser available where you are?
well, if we did, should we go in there? But her little face, I get awfully protective over my mother. I was going to walk
Oh
down
yeah.
there with my work boots in and fucking kick that door in and be like, "Oi!"
Cut this woman's bonnet now. I've got to look at this. Your
Well, I
mum
mean,
hair does look really nice last time I saw her though.
yeah, I mean, her hair is lush, but she likes going to the hairdressers every 4 to 6 weeks or whatever and have
Yeah.
that moment of just having your hair done.
Yeah.
And and just to make the lie that they weren't able to find her details. And it's like the way they made it sound was as though the day they opened was the first day they'd gone in the salon to make it COVID ready.
Were they mean girling her?
It felt like they were mean girling her, and her face
Oh
came back, and I was like,
God.
nobody disappoints my mother.
No, no one. Do you know, it's really funny. I'm really protective over my mum as well. Obviously, it sounds stupid. It sounds redundant to say, oh, I love my mum, but I do. I
Hmm.
really do. And she's so, especially the older she's getting, I'm just like, oh, mum, even though she's a grown woman. And she was with her hairdressers in town in Swansea. Oh my God, I was 15 when she started going to her. So about 10 years. No. No, so she was with him, like, well, look at me with my maths. 47 minus 15 is what's that? 30 years. She's with
I'm
this
not helping.
hairdresser for 30 years. And then he closed down. She was distraught. She was like, oh my God, what
Yeah.
am I going to do? Because he knows how to do her hair. He coloured it the same for like 30 years. You don't realize the time just goes. And I was like, right. And it was a real thing. And so we took her to one hairdresser's. They were lovely. And I went with her because she was just so nervous about it. But they weren't the right ones for her. They were lovely. They treated her like a goddess. But not the, didn't quite do it properly. And then she went to this one up by her. Oh, she loves it. It is like I'm seeing my future. Like when we were younger, we used to go clubbing. When we get
Yeah.
to my mum's age, we're going to be so going to the hairdressers for like chatting with the locals. And she's like, oh, everyone's in there. And she's getting all the gossip. It's like a barbershop type thing. But she said up there, they've just got screens. So it doesn't have to be perspex. She's just got screens in between all the chairs and stuff. And she said she's got two over there having their perm done. And you've got to wait outside if you're there too early to have your hair done. And she was like, oh, I'm going to go every couple of weeks, just have my hair, just have a wash and blow dry. And she said, she looked at my father, was like, and for someone else to look at, a bit of a change, I was like it's my father's fault that they can't go to the club at the moment. Bless her.
So last week we heard about your mother sat there with a knife. Why is it knives?
Knives and knives. And this week, I tell you what, I think I'm going to do a Greg Davis and just like do my stand up all based around my mum. I think my mum and dad, bless them.
Well, did you see him on Richard Herring where he said, I made a promise, I made an actual vow to not just do stand up about my mother.
Yes.
But she didn't stop being her.
Yeah.
They're going, no, that's another great routine.
Yeah. I love it. I love Greg Davis. I love when he starts talking about his mum. It's just so funny. Did you see the sitcom Man Down?
No.
It's hilarious. You've got Lucy. There we are. That's something we can review whenever we've finished reviewing all the other ones we're reviewing. But it is really funny. It's on Channel 4 on the box set. It's just silly. It's so silly. And Rick Mayall's in the first series, and unfortunately passed away.
Yes, because his dad and Rick Mayall died within a month of each other, didn't they?
Oh, really? I didn't know it was within a month of each other. Crikey, O'Reilly.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit like, really?
Yeah. Am I killing all of my dads?
I'm down already. With lockdown being lifted at Kanye, the only thing I care about is my pub. And
yeah, so you went to the pub this week, and this is where I'm discovering you're an alcoholic. Should I not have said that?
I've really made it quite clear up until this point. I have not hid my light under a bushel. But come on, when you walk into a pub, and like my anxiety, I was willing to walk around the corner, look, and just go, oh no, and just leave. Because built it up. I'm ready. And I could see that because they have a really big beer garden. And I thought, what I can do is I can just sit on the furthest, the nearest table. And then if my anxiety gets too much, I can just back off. And all the card machines, you put the card down on the table, they pick it up into that. You get like reusable plastic glasses that with the, they pay £1 deposit and stuff. And they're just making sure that as opposed to like glasses and stuff, it's just a case of just picking it all up, put on a steam wash, picking it all up. And the first thing he said was, hello, Lucy, usual.
Oh, what is your usual? Is it a pint of vodka? Slammered. Have the next one.
It's a pint of Prava, which is like their Amstel version of. I don't. It's just I don't go there that often, but when I do, I have my 2 pints, and then I just walk back, and it's just it's nice to get out of the house, and it's a short walk. You can walk on the canal, and it's it takes 5 minutes to walk there, 15 back.
Aren't you nervous walking? Yeah. Aren't you nervous like walking past on a canal? Like I always, because aren't all murders
there in the
near a canal?
Well, I mean, for God's sake, like hashtag the push Manchester. But the thing is, with walking there, on the way there is absolutely just beautiful. Watching the swans and the ducks and the dragonflies. You cross quite a few people, and round here, you have to say hello to everyone you meet. That's how it works. But then on the way back, I always walk the shortest distance on the street. And when I came back the other night, about 10:30, 11:15. And I'm walking on my own that way. And then a young girl, even younger than me, was walking on her own that way. And I just thought, I fucking love where I live. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
I
you know,
I don't think I could walk by our river and not feel a bit nervous. I'm not saying there's loads of murders in Swansea, but I would just feel a bit nervous because anywhere where you're out of the way, because that, the BBC 999 thing always kicks in. It's like, it was a normal day for Sarah, and then all of a sudden it all went horribly wrong, so, but
this is
that's
the sort of village where the biggest crime committed would be drinking out of a plastic straw.
Plastic. That says a lot about where you live as well. I'd say plastic. Oh, before we don't move on, talking about an idyllic village, have you been listening to The Archers?
Yes.
Up to date? Well, we don't
I've got
it for anyone that isn't up to date, but maybe we should. I don't know. Spoiler alert.
The one we listened to today was Kent trying to work out why he as a pub landlord is more important than a sergeant in the police.
Oh, right. Is that also the one where Jolene...
Why didn't Susan ask me?
Oh, right. I know. So I think that was the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Kenton. He just strikes me... Right. How do you imagine Jolene and Kenton to look? Because I imagine Jolene to be...
She's very...
buxom.
Buxom, and I'm thinking like a big cardigan with sequins and droppers on it and stuff, and she's always got she'll always have her hair sort of up kind of thing, and he is a feckless arsehole.
Oh, I think that's harsh. He does try, doesn't he? He tries to get people in the pub. I imagine he looks very smart.
We've got to think here. We're discussing The Archers.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But so I imagine the hair to be auburn, like a reddish auburn, curly hair. If I had bigger boobs, I reckon I could be Jolene, but I don't. I'm not going to show you either.
Kenton, considering that Jill Archer considers herself the encyclopedia of everything. She's like a DIY how-to manual mixed with a book of records plus Mrs. Beaton's cooking and housekeeping tips. Her kids are arseholes.
They're spoilt. They are spoilt rotten. Like Kate is my favourite though. I do love Kate because she's such a knob.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, that's Peggy. Peggy doesn't spoil her children, but her kids are arseholes. Jill does spoil her parents, and they are arseholes. So it's like, it's either or, really.
Yeah.
No, that was Fenton. Isn't Kenton the name of that dog? The posh bloke chased across the field. Right, I know it's a bit early, but we do have in the dining room.
Yes,
we do have our guests. It's not backstage because it's a kitchen sink. So we've got her in the pantry. Should we let her out?
Yeah, let her out, should we?
Right.
Let her out the pantry.
With no further ado.
For the dining room. It seems a bit.
Put her in the dining room. Yeah. Trap her in the scullery.
You don't put your guest of the house into the bloody into the pantry, do you? Although I love a pantry. My nana had a pantry.
We've got a pantry. It's about we've got a pantry that's this big counts. Right. On no further ado, we're going to let in the amazing, the delectable, the queen of Southwest comedy, star of BBC Sesh, Sianny Thomas.
Yay! Oh. Hello, Sianny.
Those adjectives just made me go from a smile to a yee.
Can I just say your hair looks lush.
Thank you. I straightened it for you guys, and I put perfume on for some reason.
Oh, you look like you smell lovely.
I just passed it.
I have been. I was going to say I have been known to put perfume on for an online appearance, and I don't know why, But in my head, I'm like, collars up, yeah.
It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yes. So I keep hearing voices back. Do you?
I don't.
No, I don't. Have you got your stream on?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't. Sorry.
Right. So, Sianny, where in the world do we find you?
Well, you're in my deluxe kitchen living room, one bedroom apartment in Port Talbot, which is where the Archers would never be set in a month of Sundays.
Because they've got your Ambridge, isn't it? That's the Archers, but they always talk about nearby towns, and I'm sure
it's in the West Midlands.
This would be for, like Hollywood's After Dark. Port Talbot would be for the Archers After Dark. Bit of grittiness.
Yes.
A lot of grittiness.
Yes, absolutely. It would be such a good episode of the Archers. They did the Archers After Dark. Although they did have, they had stag recently. And they went to a nightclub and they pretended that nightclubs are actually busy these days. And Ben got off with him, 5 years older than him.
Yeah, so I'm in Port Talbot.
The Archers, we got guests.
Sorry, Sianny.
I just wanted to reiterate I'm in Port Talbot. And when you had Barbara Nice on, you described your village, Lucy, as Midsummer Without the Murders. And that's how I used to describe where I used to work, which is Aldford in Cheshire. Owned by a duke of somewhere or other. All the houses are like 100-year lease. You're not allowed to buy a house. All the gardens have to be uniform. There's like a post office. Oh, sorry, I meant telephone voice. Like a post office, news agents. It feels like you're in your nan's living room. They've got a working red telephone box. And I always used to say that's Midsummer Without the Murder. So when you said it, I was like, ah!
But Port Talbot does have a factory for bloody big stars. Is it Port Talbot that is the Michael Sheen, Richard Burton, all them boys?
Yeah, Michael Sheen is our patron saint.
Yes.
Right.
And he's back. He's living there now, isn't he?
I think so. I don't know. Well, if he is or if he isn't, what's nice is nobody will notice because his effort isn't going to go up or down regardless of where he's living. Because he just fucking, his Twitter is just basically just retweeting everyone's just givens and stuff. He's just so lovely. He's lovely. No, it's not Jolene. It's an imposter.
She's got straight hair. I imagine Jolene has got curly hair.
Which is what my hair usually is, but I wanted to make an effort for you guys.
And I for one appreciate it. As I'm sat here with it's not stopping wet. I don't know if you've been following us, Charlotte, but I've been trying to figure it out. Sorry.
Go on. It's fine. I'm not scared.
I've been doing the curly girl method.
I know.
Yes. I think I'm finally cracked it, and I'm a bit excited. And Lucy hitting the ceiling. Oh man!
I did the curly girl for a bit a few years ago.
Did you? How did you find it? And what
I went to the Lucy. I'll speak to you later, Lucy. All right?
Catch up in a minute.
I'm already a wash your hair once a week girl. Because it's so thick, it just doesn't need it, and it looks because I usually wear it wavy. It looks awesome when it needs a wash. So if I'm single, which I am, then I don't wash it for a bit longer because nobody's gonna fucking touch it anyway. So it's like, oh, your hair looks nice. Thanks, don't touch it. I tried it. It did work really well. I did the washing with conditioner. I did the put in different types of gel in straight after washing, but I found it a lot of like taking hair out of brushes work and ruining brushes with gels and serums and shit. But I enjoyed it. It was a good, it was fun. It was all right. now I just wear it. I just plait it and just let it out.
Yeah.
If I want to make an effort, then I'll use the tongs. It always takes me 20 minutes, and I always think, oh, that only took you 20 minutes. Why don't you do it all the time? Just because I'm lazy. So,
Yeah.
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 Looks good, Sarah. Looks good.
Oh, I mean, it's worth it. I'm dying to turn it upside down and fluff it about a bit, but it's too wet still to do that. I'll have to wait a little bit long. Maybe before the end of the show, I will fluff my hair up. There's something to look forward to, isn't it? But Lucy was asking me a few weeks ago, asking me about the what was the thing we did? The comedy roast.
Oh, yeah.
And now Sianny is the one that I did a comedy roast with that I'm still chuffed to bits about. It was so much fun.
Did you go for it, ladies?
You are?
Did you go for it?
We were exemplary. We checked with each other what our no-go areas were. We warned each other because we're both like generally like known as like nice girls. I was like, Sarah, I'm not nice.
People might find out. Well, I
can get really nasty. It's like when I'm being bitchy is when I'm at my funniest, and only my nears and dears have had the privilege of seeing that. And you were like, Sian, it's fine. I grew up with brothers, and I'm fine. And so we were like, well, all right then. So we agreed on what our no-go areas were, which I don't know if you want to say, Sarah.
No, you feel free. Because the weird thing is, so the background was Sianny was paired up with someone who unfortunately wasn't well, so couldn't be involved in the thing. But I don't know how much notice you guys had. So you'd had a bit of notice to do this, and then it was about 4 days before the gig that person wasn't able to attend. So I had the privilege of Sianny going, do you want to do this with me? And I was like, yeah, okay then. But I hadn't at that point, when we said, okay, let's talk about boundaries, I hadn't like really researched it or looked at all the comedy roasts. You got the Comedy Central, and there's so much on YouTube with the comedy roasts. And so I was like, oh God. And I was really trying to think, right, what would really hurt my feelings? And I was thinking, right, to be honest, you're up on stage, it's in front of an audience. I think I'd be really upset. I think it was my weight, wasn't it? I said, I think that's the only thing. Yeah. But I've got to say, on the night, I would have been like, I'd be fine with it now because of the structure of the gig.
Yeah.
You know, it's like RuPaul's Drag Race, you know, the reading is fundamental. It's like that, really, isn't it? It's like we're just going to read each other for filth. And it's hilarious, it's fun, it's so cathartic, but it's not like, you know, you're in the pub going, by the way, you know, Sianny, you know, is from Petalbert and smells, you know, if you're in the pub, or it'd be like, Sarah needs to do some about, you know, it'd be like, what, excuse me? But because you have this structure of, we're going to roast each other, it's really good fun. But I gotta say, you know, watching some of the ones on YouTube, there's a British one, and it's clear that someone is paired up with someone they genuinely hate, and their roast is not roasted, and he's genuinely being a git. Yeah, and the other one's kind of going, oh, okay. And that's awkward. So as long as, but you know, you're not, you know, I don't know if you tend to know where it's too far. I don't know.
I know someone who used to date someone that they were put against in a roast battle, and she used a thing that he told her in confidence, like a really traumatic event. He told her in confidence against.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not on, is it? You kind of know, don't you?
Yeah, it was nice because we did that. It was really like, it was almost like we'd written and looked at some guidelines on how to do it. So we cleared that, and then it was just a free for all. It was so therapeutic and funny.
Yes.
That's like when I do I don't know if I'll do it again, the teacher character, and I scream. It's just like being bitchy and screaming and things like that. It's so good.
Yeah.
When because I'm quite quiet life. I just want to get on with everyone. Let's be nice to everyone person. It's just so nice to. And, you know, for you as well, when you were like, that's not Talbot that smells, it's Sian's pussy.
That was it.
There the reason why we brought up roast battles is the fact that I got a random message from a girl that I had met briefly in a workshop asking me to be a roast partner.
Oh.
I didn't know her, and I said, right, look, if we're going to do this isn't going to be two teddy bears just like, you know, a roast battle.
And
Roast
Lucy plays
battle
to
is-
win. Can I just say? I already know this about her.
It's a bit vicious. And she just came across as so nice and so lovely. And we had a few more interactions and stuff. I said, we're going to have a drink session, loads of like meetings, and get to know each other, because I don't want it to just be like, ooh,
Otherwise,
I didn't want it to. And the point is, it's not so much about A winning over B; it's about that battle being amazing.
Yeah. For everyone.
So unfortunately, she's had a few scheduling issues and stuff, so she's had to pull out. But my best mate from the comedy course I did, my comedy brother, he's agreed to do it with me, and I swear to God, there is going to be blood drawn. Like,
that's so much fun. It is like. Sorry, go on.
But it's like when I was thinking about battling her, I was really worried about, will I offend this? Will she be? Is this going too far? Will she think this is okay? But the minute it was that was sort of taken off the board, and it was just Phil and me doing it, I was like, well, he's a prick, and it went. Like Pender starts going, whoa.
Well, in the beginning, I was like, oh, what, because Charlie's lovely, and, you're a friend, so I'm not, like, sitting here going, oh, finally, the things I get to say that I've been holding back all these years. It's not like that at all, but it is a bit like, it's like a writing exercise, really.
Yeah.
And it's like learning a new skill. And afterwards I was just like, oh, I want to do that again. Because like Sianny did a couple of things. Like we shared like hints and tips and stuff, but then Sianny did a couple of things. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even have thought of that. Like looking through my Facebook for things to say, which are all public stuff, not anything like, oh, let's see what she just shares with friends. All public stuff. And I was like, oh, sneaky, brilliant. I'm going to do that next time. But, it's cathartic, but also it's like a writing exercise where you're writing it in a way that is different to how you normally write. It's just brilliant. Like we're both nice people, and we don't have nastiness in our sets.
No.
I have had many acts say to me, oh, if you could just be a bit of a bitch, if you could just be a bit nasty. And I'm just like, that's just not me, though. It's genuinely not. I mean, it can be sometimes. I can bring it, but I do struggle. Oh, yeah, Ali.
Oh.
Yeah.
For our listeners, for our podcast listeners, we've got to make sure we read the messages out, because we have to remember visual plus auditory.
Yeah.
So Ali Hancock, the queen of character actresses and our resident Pokemon pusher.
Yeah.
I once lost a roast battle to a computer. Girls, you've got to... Hang on, what's Ali saying now? She's just messaged to say, shouldn't have called the audience fellow meatbags. What were you doing? Were you fighting against a computer network? And they were like, I think you're fighting with circuitry.
Yeah. I'd love to have seen that. I wish I could have seen that. Well, I suppose
so, Annie, will you do the roast
Annie?
Oh, yeah. But hang on. Was that a roast against an Autobot or something? Is that how it works? Is AI gone that far now?
I'm not sure how it worked. Ali hopefully is typing frantically away to let us know how that worked. I can't remember. It was an Owen Niblock gig, who's an amazing act, and he's this is quite interesting actually. It was Owen Niblock, yes. So so he pre-programmed insults. That's quite fun actually, because I suppose an insult's an insult. Like lots of yo mama type of stuff, was it? But Owen does like what they call alternative, and what I call just different. I don't understand this alternative anymore, because it used to be alternative meant alternative to the old working men's clubs, but now we don't really have that. Really, as such, they are around, and the working men's clubs type comedian, which they share each other's jokes. They turn up and go, right, I'm doing the mother-in-laws. Don't anyone do that joke, because they were just pub jokes. Whereas these days, we all write our own material. It's original, and no one goes up and just does your motherboard. No one, Ali. No one goes up and does pub jokes anymore. It's a real big fat no-no, isn't it? We all write our own material. So I'm just like, well, what's alternative? Alternative to what? Owen's great. He's really funny. And he made a decision to just go around, but to go around lots of pubs and put his own gigs on, and to put on his own show as like a mini tour, because he just, what he does is really funny, and much funnier over a longer period of time than the standard 10 minutes, which is what you get at most new material nights. So right, because I know you, Sianny, and I know me and Lucy have both been like frantically busy today. I'm trying to think what I want to talk to you about, and I think my first thing is talk to you about BBC Sesh. So tell us a little bit about that.
Excuse me. Well, I don't know how they found me.
Facebook.
I went to go and meet them, and they said that they'd seen me in a gig, and I said, "Oh, was that in? God, where's Chapter?
Cardiff in
Cardiff
Arts. Yeah, a drone.
Arts.
Oh, Llandaff. So it was at Llandaff. Because I was thinking of the fandangos that all the BBC people used to go to. And then I said, oh, maybe Chapter, and they said, yeah, something like that. But as time went on, I think that my name was on a list passed to them.
Right.
Because I'm so anxious, because I'm the sort of person who adds a friend on Facebook, and then I'll look at my profile from what I think is their perspective. So I needed to know what gig they saw me at, so that I could remember that gig and judge myself in the past in what I think is their eyes. Yeah. This is welcome. It's hectic.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but anyway, it took me a while to get going, because I had some mental health troubles at the time, and I think mental health is lifetime management. Mine's currently, I'm going to say, okay. So I did a mental health video, which was really good, but you could tell it was my first time in front of a camera. And they didn't put the important messages that I wanted in, because they were too dark. So then I did that, and then I did some talking head things as well, which is nice. And I got used to seeing my face a bit closer up, laughing and things. Like when you film your gigs, you can see yourself laughing and things like that, and you do get used to how you look from the side and what your body shape is and things like that. But with Sesh, because it's a bit closer, I got used to. I made peace with my face, because I'm the sort of person, if you look through my old profile pictures, it's all the same direction and the same angle. And I was like, oh, that's what I look like, is it? Okay, my eyes disappear, and I got the world's busiest eyebrows. Okay, no worries, that's fine. So I did that, and then I went quiet for a bit, and then I did a Love Actually parody, which did well. Then I did a Killing Eve parody, which did well as well. And I wrote some other things for them as well, and I'm writing some other things, planning some other things. But again, my mental health hasn't been great for like most of the last year, so it's been really hard to motivate myself to do that sort of thing. But they are a really, really supportive team, and it's a nice way to get noticed. I haven't exactly, I don't get stopped on the street or anything, but I've had some people come up to me and say, oh, that's where I recognise you from, and things like that. Nowhere beyond my local spa. But I did a gig with them called Stand Up for Sesh, and did my set about Crohn's. and wrote one of my best jokes just before going on stage for that exact gig, because my brain fires very well if I'm extremely nervous. My brain goes, oh, you can have that joke. And I'm like, thank you so much. It's like, I'm going on now. Like, can you please? It was about Piers Morgan, and they included it on the video that they shared, like the clip of my set about having Crohn's disease. So I shared it to Crohn's and Colitis UK. And after they shared it, it went from having like 7,000 views to 130,000 or something like that, 1,000 views. They made me an ambassador, so they send me packs for when like things are going on, like Crohn's days and things like that. And that's the clip that went on TV then, and that is one of the highlights of my comedy career, is seeing myself on TV. It was so fucking surreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really loved it. So they really helped me, BBC Sesh. And I can say now, I can put on my posters of my real world gigs when the world's ended and started again, that I've been on the telly. So they're a really good place to get involved with, and they're always advertising for contributors with an email address and stuff. If you've got ideas, they like to do things like, what if this happened in Wales, and
because it was originally, I think it was originally all Scottish, wasn't it? And it's all to do with social media and what have you. And it went really well. And they aim it very much at a certain age, so it was 18 to 35.
Yeah, I think they thought I was younger than what I am.
I mean, I've chatted with them. I'm 47, and I've chatted with them. It was after a gig at Drones when one of the producers, came over to chat to me, Nathan Webb, and Sandra Ford, about contributing to to BBC Sesh.
And the target audience age. You just
Exactly. That's what the producer was saying, was like, look, because I was like, because I hadn't thought about it, because obviously when this came up, it's quite a big opportunity, and all the comedians locally were like, oh, okay, cool. And that's the thing, anyone can put an idea in, and there's some people like Nathan Webb, doesn't necessarily gig a lot because he's got commitments, he's a married man, he's got children, but he can do videos at home, and he's got a couple of things in there as well. So it's a really good thing for anyone that's performing, has an idea, because they will develop it with you, isn't it? But something you picked up, I wanted to pick up on you, when you said your mental health at the moment is okay. What's your scale? So, is it a 1 to 10, or is it, well, on a good day or on a bad day, I'm like this?
I'm not sure really. I'd say, like, with mental health, mine does go up and down, but it depends. It can go up and down of months of great and months of not so great. More regularly, it does. I do have days where I'm up and days where I'm down. I think I might be bipolar. I'm not sure, but I have learnt that regardless of whether I am or not, on days where I'm high energy, not to take the piss too much. And book that energy, and then the next day I'm not so down.
Right.
Huge advocate for therapy. I'm going back into therapy on Monday.
I saw that on your Twitter. I was going to ask you about that.
And Twitter is like, Instagram is where I'm like glamorous, and if I feel pretty, or I'll just put my memes on there or screenshot of a joke. That's Instagram. Facebook is just like funny posts and things like that. Sometimes I share memes to my page, but normally my personal page. Twitter is where I'm blatantly and brutally honest about how I'm feeling. And that's where I do most of my mental health advocacy, is on there. It seems to fit. And also with Twitter, I don't really care how many likes I get. And it's weird. It's almost like talking to yourself, but I don't know. I just really like it. So I talked about it on there, and at the moment Twitter is a substitute for a boyfriend, so I'm tweeting a lot because I'm like, I'll just tweet.
I found that, well, I live alone, as you know, well, me and the cats. And what I tended to do, because I get days, I get a bit overstimulated. If like today now, if I'm doing this, I delivering training for my day job this morning.
Yeah.
I watched Black Mitzvah this afternoon in order to, review it, because I was like, oh my God, I'm meant to, when you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it. And now it's today. And now we're having this chat, and I know come midnight I'm going to be like, oh my God, I won't be able to sleep, I'll be overstimulated, and tomorrow I could be a bit mental. And on one hand, that's great, because sometimes I write really good comedy when I'm feeling a bit frazzled, but it's not great from a health perspective. So I'm getting better as well at recognizing, oh right, because I will say to people as well, friends or people that are working with me, like with Lucy, I've had to say, yeah, I'm not going to be in touch. I've got too much to do, and I get frazzled. I have to. I'll come out. I'm like a groundhog. I'll come out of my hole, go hi, and then I disappear again. And how many days depends. I've not had any mental health stuff, like a counsellor or anything. I did go to the doctor once, and because when I went, I don't know if it's different now. This is about 6 years ago. They were like, oh, I'd like to talk to someone, because I think everyone goes through stuff, and I don't see why, it shouldn't just be about pills. It should be, right, I'd love to talk some stuff through, because everyone has a life, everyone goes through things, and it would be nice. And she's like, yeah, great, book you in with a nurse, a mental health nurse. And it was just to see, well, how crazy are you? And turned out it wasn't crazy enough. So they were like, well, take the tablets, here you go. And if you're, then we'll get you onto counselling if you really need it. And I was just like, oh, all right then. And so I didn't in the end. But I think, it's a shame, isn't it? Because they should, there's just not enough money in it, really. Not in it, but in the NHS, I don't know where I'm going with that thought. This is how crazy and frazzled I am at the moment. Sorry. Sorry.
Do you have people, read from what you say about mental health, Sianny, and do they respond to you? Do people reach out to you?
Yeah, I have had people reach out to me about mental health stuff, and thanks for mentioning that. And people are quite surprised about how open I am, but I find it easier to be open because there's less in my head then. My anxiety takes up enough space. So if I'm open, it's just nicer. It's just nicer for me.
Yeah. But I know where I was going with that thought, by the way. We can come back to it. I've made a note.
But with what Sarah said, I've had lots of different approaches with mental health. Luckily, I work for a really amazing company, and the times I've had therapy have been paid for by them because they've been, the deal is with the funding, they have to be separate events. And they have been. So that's why I've managed to get back into therapy so quickly after this latest shite that's happened. But my mental health was terrible during the shite, so I just need to process it properly. But because I work for this company and I'm allowed to self-refer, I'll do that. I've also been on antidepressants. I've gone back on them. I've come back off them. I've had, I would say most of the time doctors, GPs will throw medication at me because I'm guessing back like 10 years ago, the doctor himself gave me CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy materials, and said, try this, and then if you feel you can't do it, then come back and we'll talk again. And I came back to him and I said, look, I know what I need to do, but I don't have the juice to do it. My brain I'm too tired. I'm too not motivated to do it. And he was like, right, so now we'll try Prozac. But I think the GPs, maybe, just a theory, I think because they know that the waiting lists are ridiculous and they feel like they want to help, it's the only thing they've got. So they'll be like, try some drugs, and then be like, really sorry, it's we haven't got any. Mind, quick plug for Mind. I'm not an ambassador of theirs or anything, but I'll be doing this after I finish my therapy as a maintenance thing. They're doing a mental health thing at the moment where someone will check in with you once a week. So it's like a very light, like a diet therapy, if not full fat therapy. And you, it's for everything. It's for depression, anxiety, and it holds you accountable for any changes you want to make. And that's 6 weeks as well. So I'm going to go through 6 weeks of therapy, 6 weeks of mind. But I do believe, and I plenty of times talk in therapy has allowed me to come off antidepressants or has helped antidepressants work more. And I'm not ever going to be ignorant enough to say that I will never be on antidepressants again, because this is lifetime management. But yeah, I do think the GPs are maybe either it's a monetary what's the word, encouragement initiative,
right,
I think of, where it's encouraging them because it's gonna make them money.
Right. Incentive.
Yeah, it's not initiative, incentive. Thank you. Right. It's either that, or they're aware that talking therapy isn't going to land on that person's doorstep for months, so they'll do the only thing they can, which is drugs. So what did you want to come to, Sarah? You said you remembered something.
Well, I remember we talk about Twitter, and you're saying it's like talking to yourself. Yeah. I feel exactly the same way about Twitter, which is weird, really. I'm just aware enough when I'm a bit frazzled. So this is why I was talking about being frazzled. When I'm frazzled, I know I'm too frazzled, because I do a lot on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and I'll do a lot on Twitter. You know, like if somebody said something, I'm like, I could think of funny things to do with that. I'm just going to post on here, and I know it's like piggybacking on someone else's great tweet, and I'm like, I'm going to respond to this, and you kind of know that you'll get likes. I'll do that a lot, and it's not good, because what I need to do is put the phone down and ignore the world, ignore everyone for a day or two, ignore the computer, because I'm just overstimulated. I think that's what it is. I've just got too much going on and not enough energy. Some mental health professional might be looking at this and going, no, I think what you've got is this, actually. Feel free to let me know. No, but I just thought, that was quite interesting. I feel the same way about Twitter, even though it's the most public, because at least on Facebook you can have it that only your friends see it. If you're a comedian, everyone's your bloody friend. But you know, whereas Twitter, it's the whole world. But yeah, it's weird how and talking about the therapy side of things, I used to work for a training company, and but we worked with all the we had a lot of government contracts to help people who were long-term unemployed, and that was a tough gig if you had no training on how to talk to someone who is now having to do some form of unpaid work, or work in a charity shop for a month. They're not happy about it. They're not thrilled. And the only person they've got to take it out on is you, as the person supposedly helping them. That was fun, and that was the only time I contacted them. But there were 6 free counselling, and I only needed to ring him once, because I was just rang him and went, this raw, and he was like, okay, see it from the other person's point of view, and here are some strategies of how this can help you. Anything else? I was like, oh, okay. And 40 minutes, that was fine. Yeah, just have some strategies really to help out. But yeah, some companies, I mean, if anyone's watching this and thinking, oh god, I wish I could have counselling, have a look at your packages. It could be in your benefits, tucked away there, that you never look at and think, as long as I know how many holidays I got. And when I get the pay rise.
You got Mind. You know, I've been going around correcting everyone's statuses about Mind. They're not 24/7. They're 9 to 6, Monday to Friday. Samaritans are 24/7. And the NHS have got an amazing list of numbers for mental health issues, including one just for anxiety. I've never rung one, but I wouldn't hesitate if ever I was in a horrible place. But luckily, I've got trusted people I can phone if that happens. But there's loads of help out there. It's just, I think, and especially, you know, myself, I think people feel like they can't ring those helplines because I'm not bad enough. And that's why last time I had therapy, it took me a fucking year to go to actually do it, because I was like, oh no, I don't want to waste those 6 sessions now. Things could get worse. And my boss was like, use them. If you need more, we'll look at it. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I had the therapy and I was like, yeah, I fucking needed this for I probably should have had this when I was about 10. Because I did a lot. But then again, I wouldn't be writing my book. So I guess it's great, isn't it?
Well, I've been listening to the Gary Barlow book.
Really?
Yes, because I've got an Audible account, and I because I can never cancel anything. I congrats on cancelling your Amazon Prime.
Thank you so much.
I can never cancel anything. I'm like, oh, but they might need. I was so stressed when Costa closed. I was like, oh, I hope they're going to be okay without my money I'm giving them every month. But I was like, oh, I know, I like Gary Barlow's voice, and he's reading it, and he talks a lot about mental health in there, and also about dieting and stuff. So it's a great book. I'd recommend it. I'd recommend the audiobook because he's got a great voice and he reads it really well. But yeah, so he talks a lot about that, about how he just kept going and kept going throughout a lot of issues in his life. And you know, they had him and his wife had sadly a miscarriage. Although it was full term, the baby was full term. It's so sad. And lots of stuff. You know, as adults, we all go through all kinds of shit, and you get to a certain age, you're like, oh, you know, that's what I think. When you find you're talking to your friends a lot more about stuff that you think, you know, maybe, you know, just chatting to a therapist would help more than, you know, your friends are great. My friends are fantastic, but you know, they're not an actual therapist. It feels like they are sometimes.
The beauty of a therapist is they're not involved, and they don't care about you. They do, but they don't care about you deeply. Yeah. So they'll often come at you with a different angle, and like the reason that I'm divorced, I explained to her and explained to her in a understanding way from the point of view of my ex-husband, and she was like, "You're the way you're describing why you're divorced, you're excusing him quite a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, but it was because of this and this and this." And she honestly, it was like a out of body experience. And she went, "What if it wasn't because of all of that? What if he just was going to do it anyway?" And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh my God." She was basically like, "What if this is all bullshit? Just stop making excuses." Honestly, she was so tough. It was great. She was exactly what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
They're a third person, and so they're not emotionally invested. They're not going to get angry. Sometimes, you know, I don't want to tell people the things have gone wrong because they're going to get angry, and they're going to get angry for me, and I'm trying to process it. You know, I'm quite clinical in that way. So with the therapist, I can just let rip, and it's fine, and they're not going to be like, "I'm so upset for you," you know, and stuff like that. And that's fine. I'm not criticizing human beings and people who care about me. They're very important, but I do put myself off telling people things because I know they're going to get upset, which is why this breakup has been a bit thing, because I'm like, right, got one more person to tell all the details to now, and that's it for a bit until I work my task.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry that because I didn't know that you know, you'd broken up, but so I'm sorry anyway for that.
Fine. I'm very sneaky. I know how to do it on Facebook without anyone noticing and without creating a timeline story.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think because I joined Facebook, you know, 2007. What are we now? 2020. No, Facebook was. I joined Facebook about the same time I started comedy. Maybe about 3 years before I started comedy. So I've never had enough of a relationship to change my relationship status on Facebook in all that time. Comedy is the reason why I'm single, guys. Well, one of the reasons. But yeah, so I've never had to go through that.
I've always found that men
but it must be tough having to go, you know, is that what you mean, that you've had to like change the relationship status on Facebook to?
Yeah, like and not to and I said to him when we were doing it, I was like, this isn't the first time I've had to do this, but let me show you how to change our relationship status so that nobody notices and it doesn't trigger a timeline story.
Right. If I ever get to that, I know to come to.
And he was like, thank you. I was like, yeah. You just like feel history repeating itself. And I was like, all right, here we go then. I should like do a little pack.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
to anyone watching, I'm not like using this as a therapy session. Like, I'm really healthy about it, and I'm going to write and write and write. I've got so much to write. I keep getting told you got a book in you, so I'm gonna write it.
Yes, and thank you so much. And we always message our guests, don't we, and say, is there anything you don't want to talk about? Is there anything you do want to talk about?
Yeah.
And to be fair, all of our guests, none of our guests have said can't talk about this. So we tend to just go with where the conversation goes, really. So thank you, and thanks for being so candid as well. So have you got any questions, Lucy?
I
in a cul-de-sac at the minute.
I remember setting my online Facebook status to being married to my best friend, Lucy, with an IE, not with a Y, just so there's no confusion. And men very, very rarely ever try it on with me, ever. And then when they do, they say it's because I'm intimidating, which means that they weren't man enough. And then one guy actually said, oh, but you're a lesbian on your Facebook relationship. And I was like, oh, I wonder how many arseholes that filtered away.
Yeah.
That I would, and I think the people that have said, oh, you're in a relationship with your best mate, or with this girl called Lucy, they've always been people I thought, please never talk to me. Do you know what I mean? They are not. They're like, oh, I lost out on a right fucking Ferrero Rocher of a man there. And I thought, for fuck's sake, prior to that, I was in a relationship with BT because I had such terrible trouble with my phone line. I rang them every day. So, I mean, I didn't realise that people took those statuses seriously. So
I think I changed mine once to in a relationship, and I hastily took it down because it was part of a joke. And at the time I was like, hey guys, I've met someone, I'm in a relationship, and it's amazing. And all the comedians at the time and my friends were like, whoa, go Sarah, brilliant. What? And I felt so bad because the punchline was, yeah, it's me. And they were like, relationship with me.
That is such a good idea. I can change my Facebook status to being in a marriage with Lucy Orchard comedy.
Yes, you can. But I just felt bad because all the guys that had known me for like years, and I never, I don't have. Well, oh god, we've all been on online dating. I just can't bear it, the online dating. I just every time I very much believe, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I really love that quote because that generally is true. And I feel like with online dating, that's what you're doing. But what's the alternative? What is it? And you're just trawling through this sea of people who are either desperate to meet anyone or, they're just, we've all been there, isn't it?
I feel
guys, can you please have photos that have if you're a man watching this, make sure you have a photo where you're at least smiling, please.
I feel like Plenty of Fish is the worst place for online dating because it's like the grotty pubs in your neighbourhood and they're advertising for staff. It's just like all their bios are like that, no time wasters.
Oh yeah, my kids come first.
I want to get off this website. All right, okay, I
want to marry you.
So you can stop being bored of logging into Plenty of Fish every day. It is quite hard. It's nice getting to know people's personalities first. And God, I've got so much comedy out of it, but I didn't go out with people just for comedy, Lucy. I remember I sent you that mischief the other day where someone was asking and then they hastily took it down. But it does all of this experience and hardship. It does bring a lot of comedy. Like I had a one night stand once with this guy who I either didn't see what is well, yeah, we can lie about where we met, Poodle Hat, exactly, and you'd have to, because I met this guy on a hookup website when I was last single. And he seemed really cool and everything. We were all into the same thing, so we agreed to meet and everything. And I just find it so much easier to do it that way. I don't know whether I just failed to notice or whether he didn't say or he didn't say on his profile, but he was quite short. And that's okay. I'm only 5'5", and I'm not. This is a judgmental anecdote, but please think the best of me here. As someone whose weight reliably yo-yos between a 14 and 18, and sometimes peaks into a 20, and I'm like, all right, that's all right, don't lose it. He was short. He was about 5'1", 5'2", and I agreed to meet him in the Grand Hotel in Port Talbot, which is not.
Go to the Grand. A Travelodge is the Grand Hotel in Port Talbot.
Go to the Grand in Swansea, and then you're moving up a bit, and then maybe go to the Grand Budapest. And anyway, I met him in the Grand, and I decided, because I was wearing something really cool. I was wearing like an all-in-one shorts thing with black tights, and it was like it's like dark green with lacy arms and kind of low cut, and like I wore it without a bra and it looked banging. And I was like, I need to sit on the tall thing, so I sat on the tall, those bench seats which are like that shape, and so I sat on those so that I could be like not quite sitting down so that my stomach could do the grumpy man face thing, but so that I could be like, hello.
Yeah.
So he came in, and I was like, why is the face of the man I'm meeting on the body of that small person?
Oh no.
And I was like, Sam, fucking grow up and stop being a horrible bitch. Don't be so shallow about appearances. And then I immediately regretted picking those seats because he had to do a little.
I'm 5'1". I know that little hop. It is you got to work on your arm strength.
It's humiliating. I am so sorry, Sarah.
And that poor guy, because I did I messaged, because at the end of the day, I think if you 5'1" is short for anyone. I'm 5'1", but men do have this thing about being tall. Because I listened to the Adam Buxton podcast, and that's one of the things he's always stressed about. Is like when he was young, he was like, "Oh, my height," and he's 5'5", 5'6", which isn't really short. But I just think if surely a man who is 5'1" would know that is generally seen as quite short for a man, and he should have told you, or was it on his thing and you just didn't really look at it?
No, and I feel like sex-wise, I think it's nicer, in my experience, it's always nicer with someone who's around the same height as you, because everything's like within easy reach. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got on. There was chemistry, and I thought, oh, this is great. He did come out with a corker, and so did I. I said that I hated inspirational quotes, and he showed me a tattoo of one on his arm.
Oh,
brilliant!
I was like, "There's a time and a place, there's a time and a place." But the live, laugh, loves, and he was like, "I've got like basically that here," and I was like, oh, "Okay, each to their own."
It did not go well then, this date.
Well, Poodle Hat's put that he once arranged to meet a girl. She didn't show. Then she texted him to say she'd seen him walk past and didn't like his gait. That is an odd one.
That's picky. That's very picky.
Unless, of course, like you have one foot and drag the other, like the Ministry of Silly Walks. That is a very abstract.
Like you, Kaiser Soze, Poodle Hat.
Yeah, my best girlfriend's head was a foot taller than me. The best friend used to lift lips so I could peck her on the cheeks. You were 10, you were a child, we don't want to know.
That's so cute.
That is cute.
The corker that he came out with was, he said, to me, there's only two sexualities, male and female. And I was like, right, a few things.
Did you say, right, sit back, you're about to be schooled?
Yeah, I did. I was like, basically, I train staff on how to support students who are LGBT+. So you are about to get a little bit lectured. First of all, you said sexuality is male and female. I think what you mean to say is sexes, and I disagree with that. And sexuality is a spectrum, and so I think you mean gender, and a gender is a spectrum. And so we had all those difficulties, but we still had chemistry. So we went back to my flat, okay?
That must have been good chemistry then, because that's quite, there's the height, the tattoo, and now the narrow-mindedness.
It was the little, like, disagreement. It made a spark. Do you know what I mean? Just like a little, like...
Oh, yes.
We didn't actually have sex, but we did get naked. And he was into like BDSM stuff, which is I absolutely love. I'm here for that all day, every day, BDSM. And that was kind of the underlying theme of why we were meeting to hook up.
Yeah.
So I'm
Just his face. Sorry.
I brought pepper if it's too spicy.
Hey.
Just freeze me here. But I am bisexual, bilingual, probably bipolar, but I'm also what's known as a switch in BDSM, which means I like to be submissive and I like to be dominant.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So I like it all. Of course I do. I'm bisexual. I even chose a flat where the kitchen is right there in my living room because I can't be that far away from all of my food. So I was on my stomach, tied up, with my hands tied behind my back, and he said, he said, "Where are your toys?" And I was like, "They're on top of the wardrobe."
Did you have a step for him?
And I said 3 words I've never said in that situation before, which was, "Can you manage?"
Oh, that poor
And that was
guy.
it. And I was like, "Right, look," I said, "I'm sorry, I can't do this." I need to go. So he left.
I had an ex ask me if I'd be into.
That's hilarious, Charlie.
I had an ex ask me if I'd be into BDSM, and I said, "Well, yeah, but I'd prefer to be a sub than a dom." And he went, "Why is that?" And I said, "Could it be nice for you to do some fucking work in the relationship?"
Maybe that's why I'm like, "Oh, I can't do too much for you now."
I would
maybe
know
for an
what to
hour.
say.
I could not emasculate you.
I would struggle with it. BDSM. It's like, you know, if they want you to be dominant and stuff, I'd be like, oh, I just wouldn't know what to say. Do the dishes.
It's the same as the road battle. You just get all that tension out. It's therapeutic. I'm just a little PSA for anyone who listens to this in the future or anything like that. Consent is very, very important in BDSM. Rule making, safe words, making sure you're okay. If you're not in a position to say a safe word, an alternative way of communicating it, i.e. you have a ball gag in. Do not watch 50 Shades of Grey for clues on consent. It doesn't contain any. Just want everyone to be safe, because when 50 Shades came out, I was so worried about housewives everywhere who suddenly had accessible erotic literature in their hands. And I was so worried about them like getting divorced and then going on dating apps and having people, "Oh, you like got you," and like and doing things to them without consent. And I was honestly like you with Costa, weight of the world. I was like, I need to, oh my God, this is publicized, no consent. I'm sure this is fine that he didn't ask to do this because it's 50 Shades.
He graded it.
Yeah.
So that's sorry, I just wanted to crowbar that little.
No, I'm really glad you did. That's so important. And I've got a couple of questions. Just gonna grill you, Sianny. It's so interesting. So with the BDSM, so if someone's listening and thinking, "Oh, I fancy a go on their old BDSM," where would you recommend someone would start? First of all, I wouldn't recommend Googling it in work, maybe.
Yeah, don't Google it in work. Download or look at Literotica. It's got a lot of erotic erotic fiction, or maybe someone's non-fiction, who knows, about BDSM. Read rules on the internet. There's so many forums and things like that. FetLife used to be a hookup website, but now it's more of a community. Just make sure that you understand what the expectations are, like do's and personal do's and don'ts, and exchanging them and respecting them, consent and rules, and stopping and things like that. Just do as much research into it as you can. God, when I was in my early 20s, I was like long distance dating a guy about a couple of years after getting into BDSM, and he was like, "Oh no, don't read too much about it." And I was like, "You don't, I know why you don't want me to." So just and think alarm bells, things like that. And yeah, it's really cool, and it's not but it's not something that you have to do or have to enjoy. Everyone enjoys different things. I'm not 100% about BDSM. I like all kinds of things, and just I've been in happy long-term relationships where it's just vanilla sex, and it's fine. But yeah, please, oh my God, please research it and get your consent in. And watch Secretary, it's great.
That's such a good. I've watched that film. It's such a good film, Secretary.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit contrite.
Okay.
But then again, I like the idea of men being doms, but then most of the guys I meet that doms, I think you're just a prick. It's difficult.
There are a lot of pricks. Just like any community, the guys who are intimidated by you probably want you to peg them. So.
One sister.
Yeah. And also gender and all the rest of it. It's no excuse to be an older person, but I'm at the point now. I'm like, I'm just going to say I'm old. But I'm very much anytime Lucy's just given me that you do not put yourself down, eyebrow. I'm not putting myself down. I love being older. But it does feel like the last 5 years, it's like, oh, I've got to learn this new language, especially being in the comedy world. I did grow up going, oh, there's you got men or women, men and women, boys and girls, and that's it. And now I think it was about 3 years ago, I read a conversation between two women, and I genuinely had to Google every single term because they were talking about cisgender and and all that stuff. So if, like me, you're a bit confused, do you have any advice or where people should go to get the new information about? Because,
Mind your good resources. That's the booklet I hand out in my training courses. I don't know loads and loads about gender. I would just say, and this is what I say at the end of my training as well, is that people don't believe the Daily Mail. Basically, people generally are quite forgiving if you get their pronouns wrong, and they'll tell you that their pronouns. And to stop you forgetting and panicking can make you forget. Remembering a pronoun is exactly the same as remembering a name. It's just remembering a name. That's all. Yeah. People are not on a thin wire and easily offended, because they can always, most of the time, sense someone's intention. There's no need to take an interest in it, because if you think about it the same way as you think about straight people, would you ask? I know that gender and sexuality are completely different, but if I can compare it, if you think about, you would never ask someone how used are you to your name, Lucy? How's your name journey going? Do you feel like Lucy yet, or when did you first realise that you were a Lucy, really? And how's that journey going? And are you that? Is there anything I can do? Like, do you want to tell me? I can educate myself on Lucyism. Same with straight people. When did you first realise you were straight? How do you know you're straight if you haven't had sex with anyone? And things like that. Just think about, would you ask a cisgendered, which means someone who identifies as the same, identifies as the gender that they were born with, as in the gender that they identify with matches the sex that they were born with, and sex never changes. It's always male or female. Gender is the thing that has a really huge spectrum. So just think about it that way. Just chill out, and the way you can chill out is learning as much as you're comfortable with. And not panicking if you get it wrong, because it's not going to kick off like the Daily Mail would have you believe, because you can tell people's intentions. Like my friend who is gay, someone asked her, one of the nicest people ever asked her if she'd faced any difficulties being a lesbian, and that comes from a lovely place, but it is not. Have you faced any difficulties being a straight person? If you say it that way, then you realise, well, okay, I didn't need to say that. It doesn't need to be brought up. So it is literally just chill out. And if you get it wrong, people will be able to tell what your intentions were. And if they think your intentions were ill, then just like any other person who misunderstands your intentions, then they can walk on. But most people are quite happy to be like, actually, I prefer it if you called me this.
Yeah. And when I first came across this as well, I think the person in particular, this person wanted to be known as they, them. And in the beginning, it was like, oh, this is, my genuine thoughts are, oh, this is ridiculous. Well, why can't we stick to the one thing? But now, a few years later, and especially as I do trip up. And at the time, I just thought, oh, this is ridiculous. But then, if anything new feels a bit different, feels a bit weird, and then it becomes normalized. And now I'm like, you know what? Gender is a social construct. And I reckon it doesn't work anymore. We don't need it anymore. Why is it important if someone is a frigging woman, man? It doesn't matter. Like I love doing woodwork, and I wanted to do woodwork in my secondary school, and I had to ask and beg to be allowed to do woodwork. They wouldn't let us. They allowed me to do it for 1 year, and then the following year I had to go and do home economics. And I'm like, why? I want to carry on doing woodwork, but they wouldn't let me for more than a year. How stupid is that? But if we got rid of gender, they'd be like, oh, you're better at woodwork than you are at cooking. Great, do the woodwork then. It really shouldn't matter if it was the only reason is because I was a girl. How stupid is that?
Anytime I've been in a gig where I'm unsure of someone's pronouns, I try my best to just use their name. I go, hi, me and Sarah were just talking about this. So it doesn't really, I'm not going to trip myself up. Or if I'm worried about it, then, I've used your name, so it doesn't matter. It is, I think it's the Daily Mail's fault and all those Karens and gammons and stuff, which is becoming a discriminatory term, but I'm just going to enjoy it while I can.
Yeah.
I know. It's not long until we can't use Karen.
Yeah, but they're all like, oh, I can't say it's gone mad. Oh, it's all gone mad. PC brigade, blah 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 blah. It's like you are the most easily offended people in the world. So it was just something for the media to talk about, and then it was Black Lives Matter, and I don't know what it'll be next, but it's just, don't mean to sound like a tinfoil hat wearer, but it's just to distract us from Boris Johnson revoking some trans rights on the anniversary of the Pride of the Orlando shootout at a gay bar. It's just to like, oh, look over there, be outraged about that because we're fucking around over here.
Yeah.
And you're lovely people, so it doesn't. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong.
Yeah.
Look at their Twitter. Most people put it on their Twitter.
Yes. And people, if they, will like on a Zoom gig, they'll have it in their name. Yeah. Or they'll say beforehand, I am Michael, they, them, and and the more it becomes normalized and we're all doing it, the more it'll be like, oh, it's just what we do. It's not, it's not a big deal, because the things that matter tend to stay, and then the things that don't matter, or that as a society, we're all like, nope, that'll go, isn't it? So they, them pronouns are all staying, so it clearly matters to enough people. So we should give it a go. Anyway, but it's God, Sianny, we've had you for over an hour. That was so good. That was so much fun. I feel like what do you think, Lucy? I know, I'm so sorry. I've just been like, and another thing. So I haven't let Lucy say much today. Sorry. It's not a case of letting.
Okay, I'll message Sianny tonight about 11:30. The only time we tend to message is between 11:30 and 12:30.
I am a night owl. It's fine.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Shall we? Have you got any questions for us, or shall we say farewell to you right now?
I just want to know how you're getting on with online gigs. So I'm generally doing them for people who I like you. And Drew with Fools a Crowd, but I'm not looking for them, and I'm not really fussed on the idea of them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have so many Zoom meetings at work. But how are you finding online gigging?
Lucy, would you like? Lucy is the queen of do it that way. Lucy is the queen of online gigging. I've done a few, but I can give my opinion first.
I'll take this one, Claire. I'll take this one. It's all right, sir. Sorry, you don't have to tell me how I'm going to take this. In fact, you could stop talking long enough to let me talk about the thing you're about to let me talk about.
Ooh, get your handbag out. I'm just gonna
So
sip some tea.
I hit the ground running. Fuck's sake. Right. I hit the ground running and I said yes to every single gig there was, all different time zones, etc., etc. Oh, bloody hell, cat fight and the men's woken up. Hi, Kyle.
When it's all BDSM, Cal says nothing. The minute me and Lucy are going,
he sat there like that through the BDSM.
Bonjour.
Don't know what to type. Then I felt comfortable with how I present myself, my technique, how my timing and my background. I've got all that covered. Then I've made myself a very lucky position where I can now only ask for 10-minute spots because I'm not because I know my type 5 and I will do my 5 because I'm practicing doing it off script. I'm getting back into those days when we used to stand up and just talk out loud without a Word document conveniently hidden. Without our sneaky little tips where the document's there and you don't know I'm reading offline. And I've put myself forward to that. Every now and again I will do a 5-minute. Like I'll be honest, I got a little bit annoyed by signing up to an online gig the other day because they wanted more females on it. So I thought, let's do our bit and get female representation. Yeah. And then it was all through a brand new software that needed all sorts of spam dangly, doodly what's it done beforehand. And I thought, you fucking kidding me? Really? Yeah. We're, according to Ignacio, we're on week 17 of lockdown and you're bringing this out now.
And he said that 2 weeks ago, so...
I just but we're doing a 10-minute spot today, Sarah and I. Nice. Because we didn't realise it was going to clash with Forza Crowd.
I wasn't booked on it. I don't think we were even booked on Forza Crowd. I didn't know it was 10 minutes either. Sure, better start prepping for that.
But I am really enjoying it, and I do think that it's going to stay around. Sarah and I have discussed this many times. For people with anxiety issues for going out, for people that can't afford the transport. So for me, going to a fancy comedy gig in Bristol, that is 30-40 quid's worth of train or 40-50 pounds worth in car. It's especially if you're tired and you've already paid 20 quid for the ticket. I think paying something like 5, 10, 15 or whatever for a specialist, fancy big headline Zoom show or an online StreamYard, I would enjoy if it meant I haven't got to pay £6 for a watered down pint of lager, 5 quid odd for parking near the venue, and the train and all that stuff. I think that people will see that there's something we can take away from online gigs, but the gatekeepers have got to get over themselves and admit that it exists because they're living in fucking denial. Online comedy.
Give me a sec. Sorry.
I made leave. Next, first one. I think there's a place for it, and I don't see it's going away, and I'm glad that we got ahead of the trend.
Yeah, it is going to make things more accessible for people, and I like that. It's the same as work. I said during a big meeting the other day for work that I hope that future jobs are going to be advertised as workable from home, and then you've got the people who are on PIP or whatever who have been denied opportunities in the past because they're saying I need to work from home because maybe they've got a colostomy bag, for example, or they need to catheter themselves, or I could be in a position one day with my MS where I need to catheter myself, and I don't want to do that at work. So many opportunities are going to come to people because we've demonstrated through difficulty that I can do my job from home, and if I leave, you can give it to someone who can't leave their house.
Yeah, and I think I've been saying this for years because I've worked from home for years, And I've worked for companies, I've had certain jobs where I could work from home, but the company's gone, no, we want you to come in. And I'm like, okay, can you explain to me why?
Yeah, good.
I have a computer at home. I have it all set up. Why? And quite, from all I can see, they just want you in. So if they can't physically, yes, they think you're not working. So to me, that is a management issue. That's not a what can we work from home issue. That is that manager cannot do their job properly. They can't do that portion of job, because I've often thought, like, I run my own business, and I have done for nearly 3 years now.
Yes, girl.
And if I'm ever in a position where I can employ people, I would want to employ people to work from home, because, you know, your overheads are much lower for a start, and all you have to do is talk to that person and go, okay, how much work do you think is fair in it? Like, how much work do you think is fair to do in 4 hours? And you agree what you think is fair, and they come back to you and go, okay, and if it's less than what you planned, fine, you discuss it. But in my experience, like for me, when I worked in the office, I could do, it would take 7 hours to do what I could do at home in 4 hours, because in an office, my God, people like to talk, and they like to talk shit.
Yeah.
You know, oh, how are you? How's things? What did you have for tea last night? What you have for breakfast? It's like, I can't stand the small talk, because I'm just so used to just cracking on with it. Yeah. So, news for you, industry, it doesn't matter if people happen to be in a frigging room, doesn't mean that you're doing work. And how many meetings do people have where they've afterward they've gone, well, that could have been done in an email, for fuck's sake.
Oh my God, absolutely. And we've literally discovered we don't need printers. We definitely don't need printers, because I've not even filled my notebook. I've got a to-do list thing, and it's great. We've saved the company so much money, which they need to do in this day and age, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it makes my heart, I feel quite passionate about it. It makes my heart sink when you hear of people, they're like, oh, we had to go into work when there was just no need, especially because it's COVID. COVID isn't the end. There's going to be another one around the corner, whether it's, an even worse one I think this is just a way of life now, really, and for the better. Anyway, sorry, I could rant on, but I think I'll get told off if I do. But
I know that even though I'm only a brand new comedian, but I've got 2 paid gigs on Zoom lined up, and I've done. Oh, yes, you're right. Where am I in comedy, and what am I doing to be present? We're learning. We're learning. Thank you, Sarah. You caught that one. But the fact is, you've got Barbara Nice doing paid on. We've got Barbara Nice doing paid gigs. I've done an open mic where the bucket was split equally. I've got ticketed gigs that I've been booked on to. Comedy is possible through your computer, and I know it makes me sexy and popular, but I smoke. I like to sit with a drink, cigarette, and the idea of not having to walk into a toilet that's covered in piss, and there's no 15 people queue. I quite like comedy at home through the computer. Maybe I should be shunned for what I'm saying, but it keeps my overheads down. I still get to support art, and the toilets are clean.
I think that's what the backyard bars are going to grow in popularity, because if I had a garden, I'd definitely buy or build a backyard bar, because I could have my friends around, we could be sensible, and I know the loo is clean, and I know that I can trust them to clean the loo after themselves and things like that. I don't have to think I can only go to the expensive bars because they're the only people I trust to actually keep up this protocol, because Wetherspoons aren't going to, and that pub isn't going to. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. It'll just stop happening. But, that bar there, well, that's a bit, they do the gin cocktails and things. They'll definitely keep the loos clean. But, if I had a garden, I'd do it my fucking self. I think they are growing in popularity, aren't they? And I think they'll continue to, which would be nice, because I think that'll be a nice new era, that will, of more people being more intimate with each other, friendship-wise, and reintroducing, just coming around for a socialise and things like that, Yeah, good. There's definitely plenty of positive to take from this horrible time.
Yeah.
I still will go to my local pub for a drink, but whilst live events like comedy nights aren't allowed, I don't mind going to see my little pub, having a couple of pints, coming back. I'm supporting my local venture. Good for you. But until then, I don't mind logging on and doing a comedy night to make sure the comedians are still letting their art and their craft be heard. Also, having a fag and a pint in my own house.
Bit of everything, isn't it? I'll be supporting the people I trust to keep the loos clean. I've given up Amazon today, which is weird because it means I'll have to pay about 10 to 20% more for things, but I don't actually need anything, so it's fine. I'm trying not to buy new clothes because of the fast fashion thing. I'm trying to do, bits of what I can. So that's what it's all about, is doing what you can, and you're contributing to making people laugh at home, which is amazing. And I really love witnessing your motivation. I love having notifications saying Lucy posted in this, and I'll have a look. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then it'll say Lucy posted here, and I'm like, fuck yes, Lucy, yes, go for it. And I love it. It's like really awesome motivation to witness. I really like it. You're doing amazing.
I love seeing you getting a compliment. I love it. I never thought I'd meet anyone as awkward as me receiving a compliment, but I have.
I love Kyle's Barden's pen there.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome.
And Kyle also said that he missed the BDSM bit, and BDSM stands for Big Dogs Scare Me. That's all we were talking about, was just big dogs.
Yes. Fun fact, they do.
And small dogs.
That's not true, is it? Does BDSM really stand for that?
No. Oh, you could take this one.
Right, sorry.
we talked about a really cute little dog I met once that couldn't reach his toys. So that's all you
You couldn't manage. Right, we're going to have to let you go because me and the wife, we've got to quickly say how great Tiffany Haddish is, and then we've got to perform.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. And good luck at your gig.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Sianny. I'd love to have you back sometime. You were brilliant. Thank you.
Right. Do I click leave studio now?
Yeah.
It's the red button.
Okay.
It's got it. Got it?
Bye.
Oh.
My heart is scary. I can't do it. How do you do it? There we are. No, it's
like make like castanets and then just do it like that. There we go.
There we go.
All I can see was your face like this.
We do the post guest.
She's lovely. I could honestly, and the fact that we're so tight on bloody timings today, I could have spoken to her for fucking hours.
Yeah, because before the show started, we were like, right, let's make this a short one because we've just got so much to do.
Make this a short one.
It's like, nope, we're not going to make this a short one.
I'm not interrupting her. She's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you so. Oh, look, I can. Right, Tiffany Haddish, Black Mitzvah was the.
So did you watch the David Letterman interview as well, or did you not get time?
Did not get time, but I am aware of her past. I am aware of her past, and I do want to watch She Ready now as a result of what.
Oh yes, I know. Me too. I think we should do 3 Tiffany's.
I think we're alone now. Not that one.
That's my favourite song right now.
Yeah. So, do you want to go first on this one?
From the minute it starts, all right. So I seen it before, but I watched it again last night, and I had the volume down too low, and I realised even before the picture starts, you hear her talking. So I had to rewind it back. It's level 10 from second one. It like she comes out on the chair, singing the song. And she just
Looking amazing. She looked
and
like
then
Jennifer Lopez.
she takes off the sort of the Bucks Fizz-esque skirt, then does the rap. And did you watch it with the rap with the subtitles on, like I recommended? Because there is so many fast words in it. You miss it all. I watched it back again with the
I
subtitles
will
on.
watch again. I saw your recommendation too late, but I heard
Yeah,
it was brilliant. Yeah.
body confident. She's
Mm.
happy with herself. She
Mhm.
knows what she can achieve. She still manages to do the odd look to camera, cheeky awkwardness. Like when she's talking about trying to get the outfit off Miss Tina, who's making out that, well, surely you wouldn't fit in an outfit that a mother of 3 can fit in. She's like,
Yeah.
we'll see, Miss Tina. Just leave it. Down to the Cavita virus, the Candida virus. I mean, the woman covers everything, and
Yeah.
you believe her. She does live in her old neighborhood, and she does skip in a shower cap.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
she's most comedians are like Jim Jeffries. How many of you been to a Michelin star restaurant recently? And the maitre d' offends you with a wine list.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, I made loads of money now. Fuck yeah. I've got people altering my power pack. I've got them dusting my face. But I'm still going to skip around my neighbourhood in a shower cap and tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah.
That you'll never take her out of her. She'll never lose sight of that. And I think her comedy is better for it.
Yeah. I agree. I really loved it. I think, she was hyper from the minute she came out, which makes you, when you're watching comedy at home and particularly on your own, isn't it? You're like, quite often they'll just come on stage, the audience applause, they're on a stage on their own, and they, alpha male, alpha female, whatever, and they'll just come on and go and jokes. It was it was a whole show, and it gets you all up and like, oh, cool, great, And then, but she has got the jokes as well. Like, I really like the joke where she's like, everywhere I go, there was this person clapping, and they were clapping. I'm like, look around. Well, where's this clapping coming from? Oh, it's my ass, because she always talks about having a big ass. And
her inheritance.
Yeah. But she also does a joke about having a microscope. Like when she came into more money, and she's like, what was your first big purchase? And she said, oh, a microscope. Now, I won't spoil that joke because I think I'd love everyone to watch this show. But I was like, she's talking about a microscope. How interesting, because you don't think in a million years that she's going to go down that road, and she goes down it. And you're like, oh, because when she first comes on, you think, oh, I
go down it. She's not going to let anyone else go down it until they've gone down that road with her.
Yes, she's so relatable, funny, all the rest of it. But and you just think, when you see some comedians come on, you think, yeah, I know, I see you, I know what I'm gonna get, and then you don't get what you think you're gonna get. That's just fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and that there's a one joke, and I thought, respect there, lady, respect. It's literally her saying all her achievements. But did you celebrate? Joke. It's literally her going, I've done this. I've done without her,
It wasn't her saying, I just won a Grammy, She was like, did you celebrate the fact you taught yourself to read? And then did you celebrate the fact you got a Grammy for reading your own audio book? Like, did you
celebrate that you've just, been in a movie with Kevin Hart and, that earned $100 million? And as it was going on, I was like, what is this joke about? She's just crowbarring all her achievements in. And then the punchline, I thought, that's a fucking funny joke. And she delivered it really well. Kudos, respect, because now I know where to go to see all her other stuff. Brilliant. Without her going, by the way, guys, if you can, like me on Facebook, like my, it's done in a really clever way. I thought she's clever. And at the end, it's got written and produced by Tiffany Haddish. One of the executive producers is Wanda Sykes.
I know.
Sykes. Love Wanda Sykes. So I'm just like, yeah, cool. Oh, the pussy fell out. Genius. Genuine genius. That's what I've written here. It is genius. So I think first glance, first watch, and on a deadline, and doing lots of stuff. I think when I'm sat there with a glass of wine, just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit and enjoy. I'll enjoy it more, and I want to see her other stuff, and I look forward to seeing her future stuff. I think can't with Jim Jeffries, which we reviewed last time. I'd be like, if there's absolutely nothing else to watch, I'm not going to rush to watch his stuff. I think if she had a new special on Friday, I'd be like, oh, cool. Right, okay, when can I watch that? I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for the recommendation. I really enjoyed it.
She's got attitude, she's got presence, and she's got the right to brag because she works hard, and she puts her shoulder to the grindstone. She is not shy of, you can tell that special took work. And you can tell that she worked, like, as opposed to going, well, I suppose this would be funny if I put this, that, and the other together. Nah. She would have worked on that line. And why not? She's had to work all her life, and she leaves you laughing and inspired.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just she's funny, I enjoyed that. You think, fuck, that was funny. I want to punch life in the face.
Yeah. I'm aware of, she's got, because like, she's one of those names that I've been like, oh, I should check her out, and then never do. She's got another special called They Ready. So she's got a special called She's Ready, but she's got a special called They Ready where she has handpicked these acts on the circuit and introduced them. That's on Netflix as well, so you should check that out. And I know
this is going to be the 30 minutes of catching up, an hour of talking to a guest, and then 30 minutes of us just going through Tiffany Haddish's back catalogue for the next 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Very limited time. I want to bring up Rhoda.
Okay, cool. Go for it. Yeah.
I'm on episode 19.
Oh my God. I've only watched one episode because it was something my parents watched when I was younger, I'm sure.
First of all, I got really angry when I got as far as episode 10 because I didn't realise that Rhoda was a spin-off of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
But I didn't know that either until you said.
So I got really angry thinking, oh no, I've watched the sequel.
I'm like that. I'm like, no, I can't do a sequel. I have to watch them in order.
Yeah. So I started watching a little bit of Mary Tyler Moore, and I really, really, really enjoy it. But and we never mentioned it, but Sianny and I have just been doing a table read for a script where they were hoping to develop female characters more. And the guys that wrote it, really great storyline. But yeah, the women were underdeveloped. But the beautiful thing was they'd recognised that, and they'd reached out to women to help develop the characters. When I read that the character I was reading for was 19, I knew I wasn't getting that part on fucking Radio Wales.
Yeah. Well, it's radio though.
I mean, it was TV. It was BBC Wales is looking. I think they're looking to do it. Right. So it's like, I can sound like a 19-year-old, but you ain't making this. How
many likes can we put on you?
Exactly, But the thing,
the 20s maybe.
Yeah, I know, like lights everywhere. It's like just a white sheet. But with Rhoda and the Mary Tyler Moore and Brenda, her sister, and even her mother, the female characters were so developed.
Yeah.
So developed. They were more than just, right, you're shocked, girl. You're wisecrack, girl.
You're the cute one.
Won't he marry me, girl?
Yeah.
It's annoying that from episode 1, like, she started dating somebody. There was never any sort of exploits of a single Rhoda on there. And, like, I could even hear in my head, my name's Rhoda Wernenstein.
Yeah. I think the single woman at that generation was, if you were married, you're on the shelf. And that's what the sister is.
Yes. I love that sister. I fell in love with Brenda so hard. Brenda and I, she's my spirit animal. Mm-hmm. And I looked her up because I just loved her. Do you know she's Marge Simpson?
Yes, I was going to say to you, do you know who she is? Yes. Did you watch it going, I've heard that voice somewhere before?
She's known as Honey Covered Gravel. is her company name.
Is it? It's perfect though, isn't it?
she's beautiful. But what really gets me, because I've been watching this now up to episode 19, and if they put another script in her hand that says my thighs are too big, or I'll never wear that, oh, I like this dress, why? Because I've not popped the zip. Like she's my
That's her
size.
character. She's fine. Her weight is, but they got her dressing up at kind of dowdy, so she looks bigger than she is. There's no way she's even
to
big.
Rhoda. The two
What's
of them,
today's standards?
Rhoda and Brenda are not that big. Not that different.
No. Mad, isn't it?
I mean, the mother is such a strong character. It goes into a bit of a rocky relationship between her and Joe.
Yeah.
And at that point, her character really does just sort of go bland. Just like woman in the background. And then all of a sudden, it went like this, and I looked, and they had female writers.
Ah.
And the characters that have got female writers are like bang, 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 bang. And the guys that have got writers, Joe's got a friend. He's a chauvinist. Right. And Rhoda and the chauvinist don't get on. And it turns out then the chauvinist comes across as actually having a heart, having a soul. And you learn that he goes, look, I don't like women because they're not very interesting. I have more fun with guys. Da, da, da. But the fact is they had to write that to ridicule him, to highlight that these are the wrong ideas. They're so divisive in all of their characters about even like the pregnancy scares and stuff like that. It looks as though they're playing stereotype women, but they're actually having the last laugh because they're saying, I really enjoyed it. And you know what? It hasn't dated that much. The money might be different, or like the who's in power might be different, but the jokes are valid now, the same as they were valid then.
Absolutely. It's quite sad in a way, isn't it? That's a shame in a way that we haven't come that far in 40 years? Is it 50 years? It's the 1960s. That's 50 years now.
Yeah.
50 years? 60 years. 60 years. We're in 2020.
Stop doing maths because then we feel old.
And it's unlikely to be accurate as well. We don't need to do mental arithmetic. We have calculators.
Right. The reason why I first mentioned Rhoda is I got the name wrong. It was Maud I wanted us to look up.
Now, so Maud, when you say Maud, do you mean Harold and Maude, that film?
No, Maude. Maud was the sitcom that B. Arthur was in before she found the Golden Girls.
Oh, really? I've never even heard of it.
Maud. Yeah, but do you want to do Mary Tyler Moore show? Or do you want to do Maud? Do Mary. We'll do Mary, and then that'll close off the Rhoda thing.
Okay.
And then
any specials?
Do we want to do She's Ready, or do we want to go outside of TIFF?
Let's go outside of TIFF, and we can always come back then. Let's do something else.
Anna Gadsby's meant to be good.
I have seen it. It is good. There would be a lot to unpack. So yes, let's do the new one. Is it, or Nanette? Yeah. Let's do the new one.
That one. The one where the picture is that. The one with the where she's touching a celestial finger. She's having a celestial finger.
Oh, lucky cow. Right. I think it's Doug, her new one. All right, everyone. So that's going to be the Mary Tyler Moore show, which you're bound to find on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got the link.
Doug, no one commented when we reviewed it. We were very happy for you to comment if you want to watch these specials along with us, so that you can comment as we're talking about them. Please crack on. And that's it for today then, isn't it? So next week it's Mary Tyler Moore show, which you can find on YouTube. So if you don't have much time, they're only 20 minutes. So I'm sure you can find time.
And if you take the first minute off for the introduction and the 2 minutes of the credits, you can because I've done that many, I've been like bang, bang. Bang bang.
Yeah, I love an American 20-minute sitcom. That's why I love The Modern Family. I love How I Met Your Mother, mainly because 20 minutes is the perfect time to sit down, you eat your food, and you got 10 minutes just to chill out, but you're not invested in a show that's like 40 minutes. So I love a 20-minute sitcom. So hopefully this is my new, and I love one that there's loads of them. So there's loads of Mary Tyler Moores, isn't there?
What we need to do. what we need to do, this is an off-air conversation, but we love to keep our admin on the inside. So what we need to do is we need to put on the Kitchen Sink Facebook and Twitter and all that we're doing these reviews, and then maybe the fans and followers would like to watch and join in like a little book club.
Oh yeah, It's Always Sunny is a good one. Yes,
Always
there we
Sunny.
are. Comedy club.
Comedy club. A comedy club. Yes, I cannot. Love it when Britain's on.
4 minutes, half an hour, and it's a 10-minute.
Right, we gotta go.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Me neither. Right. Bye, everybody. We really love you
so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.